Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. In this video, I will try to um, explain about verb tense. I have sent the file to the group, and here the lesson 10. Verb tense. I will not explain to you like I'm teaching grammar. It's more like I will tell you when to use the tense, okay? Because this is writing, it's not a grammar lesson. So let's just see what I can explain from this chapter. So here, principal parts of verbs. So verbs have three principal parts: present, past, and past participle. So the form of the verb that would complete the sentence, today I, or the form of the verb that would complete the sentence, yesterday I, the form of the verb that would complete the sentence, often I have. So there are three types of time. Okay, we can say like that. Okay. So today, yesterday, often. You can see here the example where to how the form of the verbs, like if you decide make use a verb to the first one, then you have to use do. If it's for the second one, then it have to be the verb did. If it's the third one, then you have to change it to the verb three. Okay, verb one, verb two, verb three. That's the simple apa ya? It's another words for this point. Okay, let's just. I believe you have learned about this one, and I will just skip that part, and I will see for the second point. So it's about consistent verb tense. Yeah. So when you use a paragraph, of course you will use many verbs. You will not use just one verb, and sometimes we are confusing, or we let's say we forget to be consistent when we use verb. I myself sometimes, not sometimes, I still need to edit for many times before for example, I post a caption on my Instagram. I still need to edit many times, even after I post it, and I reread again the caption. I realized that I should have used a simple past tense, but then there are still some verbs written and the simple present tense. So I still need to edit it again and again. So it can happen to you. So do not think that when you write you will just write your paragraph once and then done. No, it will be not like that. You will need some editings many times, maybe, perhaps, okay, because this is the first problem, because the consistent of the verb tense. Okay, consistent means you have to use the same since the beginning. Okay, consistent. So for example, in a sentence, the first one, Dan opened the car door and looks for his briefcase. First one use simple past, and the second one use simple present. Although it's happened, this what Dan did happen at the same time, but then when you use different tense, which it means that thing, that activity happened in different times. So be careful. Okay, you have to be consistent. So here use, of course, it's not a fact. It tells something happened by Dan. Okay, so you use simple past. Dan opened the car door and looked for his briefcase. Okay. Like this one. When we increase maintenance services, we reduced repair costs. One, you increase something in the present, but then the effect of that increase improvement happened in the past. It doesn't make sense. So be careful. Okay. Okay, so here in this file you can see like when to use here. So there are present, there are past, and there sorry, there is present time, past time, and future time. If you talk about time in English, if in Indonesian we do not care when it happened. We just use saya makan hari ini, saya makan kemarin, saya akan makan besok. So there is no different form of verbs, but in English you have to understand that every different, let's say, time, it will have different tense. Okay, so here you can see jadi kalau dia simple present, ada we have simple present, we have, sorry, if it's present tense, there is simple present, there is present progressive, there is present perfect, there is present perfect progressive. Okay, but if it's a past tense, so there is simple past, there is past progressive, there is past perfect, there is also past perfect progressive. And if it's future tense, so there is simple future, there is future progressive, there is future perfect, and future perfect progressive. Well, not all, well, actually, you will not really use all these tenses, these 12 tenses in your paragraph, but commonly you will just use like simple tense, simple past, simple future, or progressive. That's are the commonly used. But for the last tables, for the last rows of the tables, column of the tables, like perfect progressive, you will not really use that. But of course you can use it, but rarely, it rarely happen. But if you want to use, so these are the meanings. Okay, so simple present shows action happening now. Okay, it shows action continuing now, showing action that began in the past, but it doesn't end yet. Okay, shows action that began in the past, continues now. You can find here, you can read by yourself, and you can, because this is more related to grammar, I will just skip that one. I want to explain this one, like why I give command to your verb many times. Okay, because verb tenses convey meaning. Okay, it convey meaning. It If you misuse that, then your sentence will have different meanings. So for example, in this one, okay, so in these two words there is one difference. The first sentence is Beth discovered that Nick had left work and gone home, while the second one, Beth discovered that Nick had left work and went home. Here you see there is word gone. Okay, the first one and the second sentence just went. Okay, so the first one, it's in the participle form, while the second one, the word go, is in past form. What makes it different is because we have two subjects here. One is Beth, the second one is Nick. Okay, and you see for the Beth, the verb is in the past, while past form. Okay, while for Nick, the verb is in the past participle form. Okay, so for the first sentence, you can see that who had gone home is Nick. Okay, while for the second sentence, who went home, it's Beth. It's because the form of the verb. Okay, so here Beth discovered that Nick had left work and gone home. So Nick had left work and then he had gone home. While for the second sentence, Beth discovered that Nick had left work, but she didn't know whether Nick went to his home right away because there is no explanation about that in the sentence. What we know is after Beth discovered that Nick had left work, that Nick was not in his table, in his seat at the time, Beth went home. So that's the difference. Okay, so you see the different meaning because you use different tense. That's how important tense in a sentence is. And if you remember what you did on your first writing, maybe some of you got a comment like this. or maybe some of your friends write something like this one, okay. Ada misalnya dia kayak gini, nulisnya kayak gini. Let me write it here. So some of your friends write like this one. Okay. I was. Wait. Okay. For example, she said, "I had 3 sisters." Okay. So he or she, let's say he wrote, "I had 3 sisters." Okay. I had 3 sisters. So that's why I give comment. You used to have 3 sisters, but now you don't have 3 sisters. It's because, again, if we use simple past, that means the action happened in the past and it doesn't happen in now. Okay, so if you say I had 3 sisters, dulu aja kau punya tiga sisters, tapi sekarang tidak lagi. So it's very different meaning, so be careful when you use tense in a verb. Okay, that's the point of this point of the second point. Okay, let's move to the other one. Ini you can just read this one. Okay, so this is about switching verb tense. So in the previous, I told you about consistency. Okay, so Daniel, apa tadi ya? Saya lupa kalimatnya. Let's see. Dan opened the car door and looked for his briefcase. I'll talk about consistency, but then in this point, you actually can switch the tense. Okay, so you can use different tense in the same sentence if, okay, if the sentence, if the clause, if the tell about fact or truth. So for example, we went to the new Italian restaurant on Vine last night, and the atmosphere was wonderful. Okay, you said that the atmosphere was wonderful. Jadi, if we use was here, that means now the atmosphere of the restaurant is not wonderful again. Okay, that's why there's question here. What happened? Did it burn down during the night? It's because it was. So if you talk about, again, if you want about truth, then you still use simple present. Another example is during Galileo's time, few people believed that the earth revolves around the sun. When Galileo's time, it was in the past. Okay, so let's say people believed, because the people at that time believed something about earth revolve around the sun. So they do not use simple past here because earth revolves around the sun. Around the sun is a fact. It happens until now, so you still use simple present there. Okay, so again, you have to see, or you have to decide, analyze very carefully when to use the tense. Okay, so if it implies something happened in the past, then of course they will use simple past. But remember, if it's a fact, if it's a truth, that general truth, that means you cannot use simple past because it happens. Even now it happens. Okay, so that's the point of this one, switch verb tenses. Okay. What else? Yeah, I think that's all. For subjunctive move, you can just read it by yourself. It's about if clause. Okay, like apa ya, berandai-andai. Okay, that's subjunctive mode means. Maybe one note that you have to pay attention here is the word were. So if the subject is I, you just use were. Okay. If I were rich, if I were you, ada lagu kan kalau saya tidak salah. If I were you, so it's not if I was you, but for the subjunctive mood, like if, wish, and etc. You use if I were, okay, not if I was. That's the point of this one. Okay, that's enough for this lesson 10 verb tense. Thank you.